I think I think being with God is not about situation will change, but having the peace and the confidence to go through the day to day with joy with God. The quality of relationship that I have with God is to a point where even when things are so bad, like it doesn't matter because I am with God, you know? So the feeling is never
Yeah, yeah.
about um, asking God for something, but it's about how I can just go home to God emotionally, spiritually, even when things are just not the way you want it.
Well, hello everyone. Welcome to another episode of Up Next. And today, you're going to get a chance to hear from a new person and person to our family, Jhameson Ko from Indonesia. Good morning to you, Jameson.
Morning. Thanks for having me, Tommy.
Thank you very much. Hey, look, you and I have known each other for a number of years. It's the first time you're on. So can you share with the audience a little bit of what you do for a living?
So I do sell oat milk and healthy chips for a living. And the product is distributed in Indonesia. And something exciting is that our oat milk is recently launched in Philippines as well.
Oh, very, very nice. So this whole idea of oat milk, I mean, Jameson, when you were graduate after university, what did you think you were going to do, and how did you get to selling and producing and developing oat milk?
Yeah, I think so. I graduated in from USC in the master program of social entrepreneurship.
Hmm.
So it has nothing to do with oat milk, obviously. But I do wanna journey myself eventually to have a business that is more towards social enterprise in the coming future. But oat milk itself is something that somehow I managed to create because it happens that my auntie is in the chemical distribution company, also in the
Hmm.
food sector. So I'm exposed to creating products for fast moving consumer goods. And me and her team in the lab started this idea of oat milk in 2021, and we succeeded to
Yeah,
launch it in early this year, 2024.
very, very nice. So, Jameson, with this whole idea of oat milk, I mean, is it brand new when you and your aunt and all this stuff created? How is that different from the oat milk in the US?
It's actually very similar. It's just it has a different taste profile, and mine especially is very tailored to my liking, which is it's less sweet. It's very oaty, and you can experience the natural oat taste of the milk when you drink it, and something that's quite exciting is that if you guys have learned about Muhammad Yunus in Bangladesh on the Grameen
Hmm.
Bank, they do a collaboration with Danone, and they created like a milk pouch, like a Grameen Danone milk. I'm planning to create that in next year for
Very,
the
very good.
poor down there. Yeah.
Yeah. And Jameson, honestly, a lot of times when we sit there and talk about oat milk and everything like that, it's
Yeah.
not just like a regular bubble tea place. You literally have created cans and a whole product around it, right?
Yeah, oat milk is a new category, but oat milk has a very unique taste as a milk. And of course, oat milk itself is lactose free, so there's the benefit of it.
Yeah.
But when we create the product for the kids or for the market, it's very good and for the tummy, obviously. But at the same time, it's just a new category of milk in the market.
Yeah, very good. Hey, Jameson, a lot of times people who are sitting there, and we have people from all over the world, but mostly a lot of times from the US listening to this,
Hmm.
starting a business, like for instance, it's a little bit easier in Jakarta, isn't it? Like You don't need the license. You don't need the FDA approvals, all of those things. If you create something, you could pretty much launch it fairly easily.
No, it's actually the reverse. It's actually harder to start a fast like product like oat milk. It's harder to launch in Indonesia because the the process of the legality and the FDA is more difficult and more thorough. But I do think that launching a business in Indonesia is easier because it requires little capital to start.
Uh-huh.
Uh, Unlike in the America, it's more expensive, especially
Yeah,
on the rental, on the humans. The human cost is significantly cheaper here.
yeah. Jameson, when you graduated from USC or even before you entered USC, what did you think you were going to do?
Hmm. I've I've always known that I want to be an entrepreneur. Not really know what sector it's gonna be, but I'm very passionate with education. Uh, I know like I'm not in the education sector right now, but I'm always happy to share my experience to anyone that would love to learn from the experience that I can kind of share or help them.
Yeah. And Jameson, a lot of times this whole interest in entrepreneurship, is it because your family was in the area of entrepreneurship? Did you always want to own your own business when you were a little kid? How did all of that come about?
Yes, my dad is an entrepreneur, so I kind of grew up seeing him hustling. So I guess the spirit is from there. But he is not in the food business. I started in the fast moving consumer goods business because um, there was one time I was in Bali and I was in the supermarket and I kind of have this thinking, oh, if it wouldn't it be cool if one of my product is displayed in the supermarket and so it started from there. It's just like a child idea, but eventually when it really happened, I think it was really kind of like a sweet moment for me.
Yeah, very, very nice. All right, James, I don't want to put you on the spot. You don't happen to have one of the cans of your oat milk sitting next to you, do you?
I don't have it with me right now.
Hey, look,
Yeah.
it's something I
Is it
should
the
have asked
fridge
you to
down there?
do. Yeah,
Apology on
we'll
that.
we'll take a look at it later on. But
Yeah.
how many flavors do you currently have?
So we do have the original flavor for the barista that works really well with coffee. But we do recently launched the powder sachet, so that you can just do it at home and then just pour hot water. There's four variants, like it's called double oat, purple ube, chocolate, and coffee. But I think the most exciting one that just launched this week is the chem oat milk. It has the
Yeah,
original oat milk with coffee, and also there's the one with here it's called it's like with brown sugar. It's very popular in
yeah,
Indonesia, and
yep,
another one is caramel macchiato. So
yeah,
we just launched three flavors of coffee series in a can packaging.
yeah. Hey, look, Jameson, a lot of times for me, I love it just because I'm lactose. And so this
Hmm.
whole idea of the oat milk really does help me out.
Yeah, you tried it at the in Jakarta last time, right?
Oh my gosh, I love it. And as you continue to develop, what are your other products? I know you mentioned one product for next year. What are some of the other products you're thinking about developing, or do you want to stay with your current products to see how well it does?
Uh, so as I mentioned earlier, we're planning to because I was inspired by Muhammad Yunus. So I'm just following his footstep since I am in the food business, and there's a lot of people that are lacking in nutrition for the kids in the villages. So we are created like a pillow back milk, like a very small, uh, like a pillow bag. So basically, the product will be the launching will be in the fruit series. So there will be like strawberries, mango, blueberry, something that the kids can easily enjoy. at the same time, it is very good for their nutrition because I'm gonna be very focused with the content of the milk for that yeah, the product that I'm launching for the villages out there.
One random question for you, Jameson, is like even right now with the oat, where are you getting all your supplies from? Is it from farms in Indonesia?
No, we actually got it from China because we have a very close relationship with the oat supplier in China. So they grow their own oats in China. So that's where we procured the oats.
Ah, very good. Very, very good. Jameson, talk to me about, I mean, besides oat milk and all the other stuff that, talk to me about your own spiritual life. What are some of the, as you look back at your life and I say,
Mm,
hey, Jameson, how has God shown up in every aspect of your life? You and I have talked about your past a little bit.
mm.
Talk to me about your own spiritual journey.
I think so. It's so interesting. It's just happened like this month is actually my 10 years walk with God. Also, so I started my relationship with God in November 2000, 2014. So that was like 10 years ago. I think looking back the past 10 years, wow, it's this one is long, but I think the major highlight that I can share is that God really loves me, uh, even through the ups and downs, even through the tough times. I think in the 10 years of my journey, 2024 is the hardest year of my life, uh, but God taught me to enjoy my relationship with Him even when things are not good. You know,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I think I experienced 9 years of good relationship with God in the good times, but only this year I went through so much tough times that God taught me to still be able to enjoy the quality of relationship that I have with Him. Even I think this year is the year where I feel I'm experiencing such love from God, like experience God at a deeper level. So I think if I can sum it up, I think in every aspect of my life, God always put me in a situation where He draws me closer to Him. If
Yeah,
that
yeah, yeah.
kind of answered the question, because it can be long, but I think I just want to highlight something very profound this year.
Yeah, yeah. And Jameson, I know a lot of times it may be a longer story, but if you were to highlight some things, because growing up, it's not like you grew up in the church, right? You actually grew up, as you said, with the bad boy image. You were always constantly in trouble, and then your life turned around.
Yeah.
Why was there a turnaround? What is it that drew you to Christ?
I think mine was more not gradual. I think my encounter with God is not like a gradual and progression of the relationship. Mine was like a bam, you know. So it was quite similar to uh, Apostle Paul, kind of when he was like blinded for 3 days. I think it was a very similar encounter for me, but it was not like blinded. But it was I was in 2014 November. I was very sad, and I'm not sure what I have to do. I was just crying. But growing up in a Christian school, I think the only thing that I know is to pray to God. So I was just kneeling down on my bed praying to God, and suddenly it. I think the descriptive image of it is like a warm light coming from heaven suddenly goes down and enter my heart, and I think that's the first time I can really feel God spiritually, and at that time I think then suddenly I just have this very deep encounter in being in God's presence at that time.
Yeah, yeah. Jameson, for those who are sitting there listening and they're hearing about, man, a lot of times things just didn't go well, but I'm enjoying God more. What does that mean? How does that look like a lot of times? What does it mean for you to have expectations and believe that, all right, God's going to react a certain way. He's going to do certain things, but it just doesn't happen. How do you still follow the Lord in that sense? What would your advice be?
Oh, I think being with God is not about situation will change, but having the peace and the confidence to go through the day to day with joy with God. It doesn't like the situation doesn't it I think the quality of relationship that I have with God is to a point where even when things are so bad, like it doesn't matter because I am with God, you know? So the feeling is never
Yeah, yeah,
about um, asking God for something, but it's about how I can just go home to God emotionally, spiritually, even when things are just not the way you want it. I
yeah.
guess I
And
guess
it
the
has to
the
be,
best description is I think the best description, Tommy, is like even if you don't have a good day, at the end of the day you go back to your wife and hug and have a good time, dinner with your wife. So I guess the feeling is kind of going back home to him every day kind of
yeah.
feeling.
It's a
Yeah.
choice that you have to make, isn't it, Jameson? A choice to continue to follow God, that knowing that no matter what happens, what you expect him to do may not happen. It may happen, but it may not happen. Are you okay with it? And can you still continue to follow after him?
Yeah, because I think
Yeah.
if
Okay.
things happen or if things doesn't happen, is it's more like a human desire, right? So is that I think the question that I always ask is this what God desires?
Yeah, 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 yeah. As you look back, even on your journey, like when you were younger or even your high school and college years, what was a defining moment? What was a key story in your life in which you saw God show up in your life? What would you say to that?
Oh, I think my very first encounter with God is a very weird one. It's actually from a sporting bet because I remember I was betting for an English Premier League game. I was just betting and I was like losing money. But I do like a continuous bet. I remember the first time I prayed to God, God, just give me this win, I will stop. And miraculously, the team that I was betting on won the game from down 3-0 to 4-3. And so I think the first time I feel like I I thought that I have this thing with God is from that event. But so I think I used that when I was sad in 2014, and that's how I encountered God, God's presence the first time. So it was it's just my personal story. So guys, don't don't follow my story. Mine is like weird, but that's just mine. It's just tailored to mine. So it was that. Yeah.
Jameson, I'm not sure if I've ever heard a story of how God
Yeah,
showed
mine
up
is,
in the Premier League. Oh,
but
hey, now, for
but
instance,
yeah.
going back to your company as well too. At the end of 10 years from now, what is it if we sit down again? What is it that you're hoping will happen with your company and all of that stuff? Where do you want it to go?
Like 10 years from now.
Yeah, if we're
Or
sitting here 10 years from now, where do you see your life at? Where
uh
would you want your life to be at?
oh, I think I hope like business are good and I can be more like you, Tommy. Self sustain financially at home, and I can just do discipleship um more, and just sit with people and just read Bible with people and just be more active in church.
And for those who are listening and not never been in Indonesia, how would you describe being back home in Indonesia compared to your years at LA at USC?
Uh, well, I think Indonesia is just like it's not as developed compared to the US, obviously, but I think Indonesia's people are very warm and helpful and very communal. So I think a lot of uh, I rarely see a very individualistic Indonesian. Everyone is just so loving, and like Tommy, everyone in Indonesia is so together.
Oh yeah,
And I think that the humans are just so loving and so encouraging, and I think everyone is just always there for each other, even to help the little things. I mean, it's hot
yeah,
here, and we don't have 4 seasons, but yeah, we have a nice Bali, kinda,
yeah.
to chill. But
Hey,
Jakarta, I
by the
know
way,
it's very similar to LA. Yeah.
even as you and I are talking right now, what is the weather like? Is it warm and sunny over there today?
Yeah, I think right now it's sunny. Yesterday it was raining, so I think we're entering the rainy seasons very soon.
Yeah. Hey, look, I woke up today, Jameson, and I looked out my window. And it's been snowing like crazy in Chicago, Illinois.
Oh, I'm jealous.
Oh, what do you mean, jealous? I wish it was hot and sunny.
Because
Jhameson Ko. Okay.
I just came back from Norway, and it was very cold too over there.
Yes. Now, what were you doing in Norway?
uh, I was expecting to see the Northern Light, but I didn't get the chance to really see it.
Oh, seriously? Okay, so what in terms of northern, did you literally go to an open area and to see the northern lights?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I booked like an igloo on top of a mountain. And
Seriously?
but yeah, but it was raining, so it was very unfortunate. Yeah.
Okay. If you get a chance later on, can you please send me a picture of you in the igloo? I would like to see
Yeah,
what it
yeah,
means to live in an igloo.
yeah. I'll WhatsApp you the images.
Yes. Have you ever lived in an igloo before?
Live now is just I think. Oh, I mean, you mean like stay in an igloo? Yeah, yeah. I think this is the second time, because the first time, well,
Yeah.
I think it was in Finland, and this time is the in Norway. So similar but different country, I think. Yeah.
And then inside the igloo, what do you sleep on? Is this you're sleeping on the floor of ice or what is it?
Oh, it's not like an ice igloo. It's like an igloo hotel where the infrastructure of the building is like an igloo, but it's just like a normal hotel.
Ah, interesting. And Norway was the best place for you to see the Northern Lights.
Yeah, I mean that's what they said. But I think the activities are actually very strong in the US right now.
Okay.
In
Got it,
the
got it, got it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
in
Well,
America is
Jameson, thank you.
stronger. Yeah.
As we wrap up, let me ask you a couple of questions here. What do you miss best about the US?
Oh, I think the groceries. I really miss the groceries there. Yeah, you guys have a really good stuff in the grocery, so that's what I really miss. Yeah.
Ah, okay. Were you a big sports fan when you were in the US and watched the Lakers or the Rams or Dodgers?
Oh no, unfortunately not, because the sports that I do and I watch is all in England, so it's actually more on European football and tennis. So I think the only sport that I watch in the US is the US Open, but
Okay,
uh, yeah, that's the only sport that I'm currently watching, basically.
got it. What is it that you love the most about Indonesia?
I think just being close with the family and friends, a very loving community of disciples here. So I think that's what I love the most here. Like everyone is
Got it.
just so in love with and active in the church, and you know uh, be with the Bible, with God, and be with everyone. Yeah.
Very good. Jhameson Ko, thank you very much. And congratulations on the launch day of your canned oat milk. And I'm looking forward to just trying some
Thank
next
you.
time I'm there.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes, for sure.
We'll talk soon, my friend.
Okay, thanks, Tommy.